What is up, everybody? My name is Dane Thompson. Welcome back to another episode of What's Happening? This is a weekly series where I fill you guys in between videos here on the BurnDown YouTube channel. And I think today is a good example of why this works because I have like two separate videos going on. So if you were new to the channel, you'd be like, what the hell is this guy doing? Why is he doing a transmission and then screwing with the turbo Winnebago? Well, this is where I fill you in on that. So first and foremost, made a little list so I don't get all sidetracked and just ramble on here. The Twinnebago. So it's starting to come along. We swapped out the bump stick for a sloppy stage 2 because I want the meat and potatoes when that thing makes some sound. So it is much louder now. And I have a torque converter on the way. So I will unbox that, open it up, show you guys what we're going to go with when it gets here. That should help it kind of get out of the hole, kind of get out of its own way. It's an HD converter, should be set up for towing. It is not like a triple disc billet race one like most people were recommending. This is just a good, basically RV like tow converter. If we blow it to pieces, then we'll go with the high dollar stuff. But I don't know. I'm gonna screw around with the thing, but I really doubt it's gonna blow it apart. I'm hoping to put it on the rollers at some point, and then if it does blow through the converter, that'll be an easy way to tell. So we'll keep you posted on all those fun things and videos and stuff coming up. But we gotta finish the damn thing first. So it's getting close. The tune is somewhat decent. I gotta work on it a bit, get the fueling decent, and then we can make an E85 tune. So the things that I have left on the list, I will just list them off here so you guys kind of know what I'm doing. I don't think I'm gonna make a video on every single one of them. Depending. So the line lock, I just need to hook up a button to the line lock. We need the E85 tune, but obviously we just put a new cam in, so we got to line the tune out a bit better than what it is, and then we can do like the 30% chart or whatever for that. And then I'm going to copy what Sloppy already has a whole write-up. It's just an advanced table that it looks for from the content sensor. So we'll go over that stuff. I'll put it on here. I'll try to make it in layman's terms, like stuff that I would understand. So maybe that'll help some of you guys. And people ask me, and I always just tell them to go to Sloppy, but I don't know. I'll just rehash the same thing and explain it in a way I would understand. So maybe it just makes it a little simpler for those of us that are simple. New oil drain lines. So when I was idling today, I was working on the idle tune portion of the tune. I have like a hole in the Winnebago's kind of sideways. Well, both of the oil drains go into a T, and then it goes into one side of the oil pan, and it was kind of leaning on that side, and it wasn't draining, so the thing started puffing smoke. So I know it's getting oil past the seal, and I'm betting it's the bottom turbo because there's not a lot of fall, and I was worried about that from the start. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to split them up, and the top turbo will go into one side of the pan, and then the bottom turbo, I'll give it its own path to the other side of the pan, and then I'll probably use a real big fat line so there's a lot of volume there. So that way it can leak in, and hopefully it'll take a long time to fill that thing up so the bottom turbo doesn't leak past the seal. So if you watch a two-step video too on D-cell, it puffed a little bit. So I'll try to get those drains lined out as best I can. If not, I really don't want to have to pump the thing because that's like such a pain in the ass for something that's so simple. So I think splitting them up, and then especially on the bottom turbo, I'm going to go with a real big line that goes back to the oil pan. So like I said, there's lots of volume to get the oil out of that turbo. So I have that to do, more fittings, more line making, but we are close. New power steering lines, so I'm getting fittings for that. Again, I had the power steering lines crossed when we first fired it up. So now that they're in the proper spot, they're too short because the way that I had them made. So we'll just measure those out and get some new power steering lines, and then we can button those up and those things will be done. So that is it as far as running stuff goes, really. Aside from, registration and tires, and I keep telling you guys that. I looked into it. There's really no way around it for the most part as far as registration goes that I'm aware of. So I talked to my little registration gal today that handles a lot of my stuff. So we'll just have to bite the bullet on that sooner or later. And then I have wheels I need to get from my father-in-law's place and test fit one and then have them powder coated. I want to make sure they fit before I dump money into powder coating and then have a wheel that doesn't work. So we'll get rolling on that pretty soon, and then on to cosmetics. I'm going to start with a grill, obviously, so we can cover all the turbos and everything up. And then I'm going to do a trucker visor like that you see on like the Peterbilt trucks. We're going to do that. So we'll do that. I'd like to put LED, like all the lights that are around the coach. I want to make sure all those function. And then we can get on to normal life stuff like interior stuff, faucets, all that fun stuff. I don't know if you guys want to see any of that or not. Comment, let me know. I don't know how interesting it is. And then we could probably just switch over to Maliboom stuff while I'm doing like housekeeping. Then I can just do little updates on the Twinnebago. But I think you guys here are more concerned with does it go and will it do a burnout? So I'm working on it, and the reason we haven't tried to really do a burnout yet is I have really minimal timing. The thing makes some power, but it's not where it should be, and I'd really like the safety of E85 for the cooling and for the timing, especially because Big Bertha's a big girl. So I'm really not trying to melt it down right now on a gasoline tune. So I'd really like to get into the 85 because then I feel much safer about throwing some boost at it. And I think it's going to take, we're at like 5 pounds, roughly right at 5. So we'll put it at E85, put it on 10 or 12 pounds, and then she'll make some power, some steam. And I think that should be enough to spin it. But right now it goes, but again, it's not like over the top. And then the new converter will also help it get up in the power band. So I'm thinking once we kind of line all that stuff out, she should boogie pretty good. And then we'll do a test skid here for you guys down under. Hopefully my neighbors don't really lose it when I'm out there trying to smoke the tires in the thing. And then after that, it's pretty much game on. The thing runs and we're good with it. I still have to button lines and things up, but we'll crawl around. That'll be basically an afternoon or probably a day of like securing things and making sure it's 4,000 miles proof worth of. You're back. My camera cut out right when I was finished talking about the Twinnebago. So on to the Maliboom. So if you watched the transmission video, we pulled the transmission out of the car. I lost low gear amidst some other gremlins. It seemed like I had the snowball trifecta of issues, and then the transmission decided to die. Well, it's a good thing it did. The flex plate is cracked all to hell, so we'll look into that. But I got a new SFI one. That one was SFI, by the way, too. So we'll pull that out. I'll let you guys know what brand it was. I believe it was Pioneer, but I'll know for 100% sure when I pull it out because I don't want to start throwing people under the bus. So I'll just let you know which one it was. Maybe avoid buying that. I'll let you know what the new one is that's going in, and I will definitely keep an eye on it because I really don't want shrapnel. I like my legs and feet and arms, and I like being healthy. So I'm kind of glad that the low gear went out, and I think what had happened when I initially put it together, I really struggled to get the rear piston in for the clutch, for the rear clutch pack, reverse clutch pack, and I struggled when it finally kind of went in. It wouldn't move around. It was in, and I could put the air to it, and it would move. But I didn't know if it was right or wrong, and I think a lot of it, I didn't have enough lube on it. Who knows what I did or didn't do. But anyway, that thing went in. It wasn't right. I think it cut the lip seal because of that. And then there's a multitude of other little issues. I had a little piece of metal in the planetary. The reverse spec. So I'll just make it clear that I'm an amateur builder, so I followed a book. So on the front half of the book, it's a stock build. And it says between 4 and 10 thousandths per disc. I've got 5 of them, so that would be roughly 25 thousandths to 50 thousandths, give or take, for clearance for reverse clutch, right? Well, you fast forward to the drag race portion of it, and it says, oh, you want 90 to 120 thousandths clearance, which is a lot more. That's like 3 times the amount of clearance, and it's for disengagement and then for friction, going down the drag strip. Well, I was on the latter end of that. I was probably close to the 120 thousandths mark. So when I put it back together, I was looking down on the bench and there's a big gap in the reverse clutch pack, and I was like, yeah, I don't know if it's supposed to be like that. And then I opened up the front half of the book, and I'm like, dude, we're way out. We're like double the spec, right? So ripped it all apart, slammed another metal disc in there, basically like to shim it, a metal clutch, and then shimmed it all up, put it back together. We're at 50 thousandths clearance, which is within spec for a stock rebuild. And then I read back through the drag race portion, and that's why it was so loose. I was following that portion of it. So this go around, I've got 50 thousandths clearance, so it's a lot tighter, so we'll keep an eye on heat, and then obviously some wear. But other than that, new planetary, I put new reverse clutch frictions in, even though I didn't have to, just for peace of mind. The old ones are on the shelf still, so if this clearance is too much, we smoke them, at least I can throw those back in. And then new seals, new lip seal, and a new shift lever arm. So all in all, I think it's like $100 in parts from Summit, 100 and something, but that was with the flywheel. So like literally it was a $20 shifter arm. I don't know. It wasn't very much at all. $60, $30 in clutches. So all in all, I'd say, oh, I had $100 from B&M. So it's like under $200 for the screw ups that I made. So we'll see how it goes. It took me an afternoon. It took me longer to clean the whole thing than to assemble and disassemble it this go around. So hopefully that works. And then when we slam that back in the boom, I still have this bad boy sitting and waiting. But I got to get the transmission back in with the motor, so everything's setting where it goes. And then we're going to make a whole brand new turbo kit. I sold pretty much the entire turbo kit to another guy that's building an S10. So he's going to slam all that in there with my old turbo and everything and have some fun. And then I was looking at like passenger side turbo mounts, and I even kind of got swayed into like I was looking at flanges, possibly making stainless headers and like the whole exhaust side. And then I realized I'm not going to have any more fun. It's going to take a bunch more time. My car's going to be down for a while. So I did what any self-respecting sloppy mechanic should do, and I went and got some truck manifolds. We're going to cut those off. That's going to be our base coming off the motor. And then I've got a bunch of trick tubing pieces. I did splurge, although I kept it mild steel, and it's JMD tubing. We'll go over that stuff when I do the hot side. I'll give those guys a shout out. They've been taking care of me on that stuff. They're local to me. They have a website. They've got all kinds of killer stuff. If you're fabbing stuff, those guys, they've got it. From V-bands to flanges, they can custom make. They have the expander, so you get the tubing you want. Like, you'd just get a piece of tubing that wasn't quite what I wanted, and then they'd go on there and expand it. It was really trick. So I have some one-off made stuff specifically for my kit that literally it took them like a couple minutes just to make it. I'm like, you just saved me so much time with like trying to cut and fit. It's ridiculous. So the hot side, I'm hoping goes together fairly quickly. The main thing is we got to pick turbo location and then go to that. So we'll do the hot side. I've got all the aluminum over there for the cold side. We're going to run the Chernobyl setup. If you guys forgot about that already, we're just going turbo into the intake, and we're going to party and see how it goes. I've got a lot of use out of that 5.3. If it comes apart because of being an idiot and IATs and whatever everybody else tells me the voodoo, so be it. But I'm looking forward to it, trying to keep it simple, get rid of any of the boost leaks. We got to turn this thing up. I want to start running at least, high teens in the 20s to get this car to party, because up until now, I've never been down a track with more than 12 pounds of boost in the Maliboom. So at this point, if we can get things to kind of work out properly, it should start coming to life. And then I've got the new planetary. My transmission should be lined out, and hopefully things stay in one piece, at least for a little while. So still waiting on tracks to open up. We got the COVID-19, and we all live in bizarre world right now. So hopefully that all changes here in the near future. But man, I'm just trying to keep my head down. I really want to go race. I just want the tracks to open back up. And I want to get my car lined out, get the Twinnebago rolling. So we are doing it. I hope you guys are enjoying the channel. Other than that, if you have any questions on any one of these builds or any of the stuff you guys see me do, feel free to reach out and ask. There is a list of companies that support me and help me out in the description of pretty much every video since I started building the Twinnebago. And all those people have reached out to me and just been helpful in some form or fashion. And I've done business with majority of the people on that list. And good companies, good people. We got to keep in business, guys, so you know what to do. Other than that, shameless plug, I got hats in. I got a whole rack of those things. And I ordered stickers tonight because I was out. I'm still waiting on the Maliboom artwork. And I was told today that it's getting pushed back even further. So no idea when that's coming in. We'll just order stickers. Got hats in. You guys know what to do. Like, subscribe, share, tell your friends. I'm out.